Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome back to another video here. My name is Wasted Potential, and today we are taking a look at all of the football stadiums in the American Athletic Conference. There are a number of really nice stadiums on this list, and a couple NFL stadiums too. The stadiums really range in size as well, from just over 15,000 in capacity to just under 70,000. So this will be a pretty interesting list to look at. And guys, just a couple things I wanted to note before hopping into this list. This will be in order of capacity from smallest to largest, just like all of my videos so far. Just so you know, I do plan on doing ranking videos in the future, but probably not till I finish doing all the conferences in the FBS and FCS level. Also, just keep in mind that all of the photos in this video have to be permissible for use on YouTube. I do try my best to find the most up-to-date photos, but if it's bad quality or watermarked, I probably won't end up using it. But if you guys know something is outdated, or if you have a good source for better images that I would be allowed to be used on YouTube, that would be really helpful. And if you could just leave a comment down below, I would really appreciate it. Last thing, if anything is incorrect in this video, just let me know in the comments as well, just so everyone else can see. I'm not trying to lead anyone in the wrong direction, so that helps out a ton as well. But anyways, guys, let's hop right into the list here. Starting off with Jerry Richardson Stadium, home of the Charlotte 49ers, built in 2013 with a capacity of 15,314, currently with approved plans for expansion. Renovations done in 2023 upgraded the stadium's video board to a 1,960-foot jumbotron, much larger than the original. It also added new video ribbons and an upgraded sound system. Future plans include a two-phase renovation that will add luxury seating and box seats and expand the seating first to over 18,000, then to 21,000 plus. I did find some renderings online, as you can see in this next picture. Not 100% sure if this is still the direction the project is going, but I did see an article that they had approved $60 million in funding towards the project just a month ago. The stadium as it stands right now is still very nice. You can tell it's a newer stadium, and I just like the seating layout with it being all one lower bowl in a horseshoe type shape. I like the walking space at the top of the seating areas, and they have a very nice end zone complex. I also like the materials they chose to use. That reddish orange brick is always a nice look. I do think these pictures are from a few seasons ago, as I couldn't find any good pictures of the new video board. But yeah, overall, really nice stadium and a growing program, and again, home of Charlotte. Next up is FAU Stadium, home to the Florida Atlantic Owls, built in 2011 with a listed capacity of 29,571. This was apparently part of the first phase in what FAU calls the University's Innovation Village, which added the stadium as well as students' residence halls, retail shopping space, and a convocation center. And as you can see in the pictures here, this is another really nice looking stadium with a nice section of chairback seating, a big press box, and a nice looking jumbotron. From the press box, you can even see the Atlantic Ocean, which FAU claims this is the only FBS stadium that can make that claim. FAU Stadium also hosts the Boca Raton Bowl every year. Overall, I really like this stadium, and I think it fits the program well. Probably a nice environment to catch a game. Maybe you can even catch the ocean breeze in there. And that's FAU Stadium, home of course to FAU. Next is Skelly Field at Chapman Stadium, home of Tulsa. Opened back in 1930 and currently has a capacity of 30,000, the capacity here has changed a number of times. When it first opened, the original capacity was 14,500. Renovations in the 40s and 60s brought the capacity up to as high as 40,000. In the early 2000s, the north end zone seating was demolished to make room for the Case Athletics complex, bringing the capacity down to 35,000, before another renovation in 2007 reduced it again, where it sits today at 30,000. Originally just named Skelly Field after William Skelly, who owned and founded a oil company and the primary benefactor of the project. The name was changed, and the H.A. Chapman Stadium portion was added after the aforementioned renovation in 2007, again after the primary benefactor of the project. A few notable players who have played here include Doug Williams and Steve Largent. Overall, I really like the stadium, and I think the size and design fit Tulsa well. Next up is, and I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Yulman Stadium, home of Tulane. Another newer stadium on this list, Yulman was built in 2014 and also has a listed capacity of 30,000. It has everything you come to expect of a newer college stadium: nice concessions, a ton of chairback seating, luxury seating areas, and a totally awesome exterior in my opinion. It also has a really nice 94 by 24 foot video board. Personally, I'm not always a big fan of second deck seating, but I really like this stadium layout. It really reminds me of a pro soccer type of stadium, which are usually really easy on the eyes. Richard Yulman, former partial owner of Serta and namesake of the stadium, donated a total of $25 million to keep the project and help completely fund it by private donations. I really love the field design here as well. It looks super clean and a super nice stadium, and again, home of Tulane. Up next is DATCU Stadium, home of North Texas. Now, I'm not sure if anyone actually says this, but I'm going to call it DATCU Stadium just to make it a little easier. But anyways, built in 2011, so again, a bunch of new stadiums on this list. It seats 30,850. Taking a look at the stadium layout, I really like it. The seating is all done in a horseshoe type shape. It is all bleacher seating, but that really isn't a big deal at the college level. Has a nice press box area as well with some luxury seating areas. You will see in some of the other images as well that the seating behind the one end zone is done in a V-type shape, which is really unique and I think was pulled off really well. The big thing with DATCU Stadium may be how green it is. No, not green as in the school's colors, but environmentally friendly green. When it was first constructed in 2011, it was the first newly built stadium ever to be given LEED Platinum level certification, which is the highest level awarded by the U.S. Green Building Council. Designed and built with a state-of-the-art water retention system, and in 2012 there were 3 wind turbines installed nearby to help power the facility. So very interesting stuff. It also has a 47 by 27 foot video board. However, I know a lot of stadiums have been getting new video boards recently, so I don't know if that information is still completely up to date. Overall, though, another really nice stadium here. And one thing I forgot to mention, this place has a lot of that reddish-orange brick again, which I really love on the exterior. Looks good. Again, this is DATCU Stadium, home of North Texas. Next on the list is Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium, built in 1959. It has a capacity today of 34,000. The name pays homage to those who gave their life in the line of duty. Since 2013, it has fittingly hosted the Military Bowl. It has hosted it every year since, apart from 2020 and 2021 due to COVID. In 2004, a new architectural firm was contracted, and they expanded the West Side press box. Ever since, the same firm has been tasked with making regular improvements, including adding luxury seating lounges and private suites, as well as updating concessions and restrooms. I couldn't find when they were added, but the stadium also has 2 nice-looking video boards behind each end zone. In 2018, it hosted an NHL Stadium Series game between the Washington Capitals and the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Capitals winning that game 5-2. Overall, I really like the look of the stadium, although I'm not the biggest fan of the seating layout. I think it looks good and it's the right size. Again, this is Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium, home of Navy. And up next is Michie Stadium, home of Army. It opened 100 years ago, so 1924 for anyone who's bad at math. It has a modern-day capacity of 38,000, and speaking of the last guys we talked about, the Army-Navy game is one of the most well-known football games played every year, and is always Army and Navy's most-watched game of the season. Michie has hosted it twice, once in 1943 during the midst of World War II, until the game outgrew Army and Navy stadiums and would be played in a neutral site going forward, until the 2020 season, and the game would be forced to move back to Michie Stadium one last time due to COVID restrictions at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, where the game was originally supposed to be played. Maybe this won't be the last time we talk about Lincoln Financial Field. But anyways, guys, I love the natural setting around Michie Stadium, with lots of trees and water, and the area just looks amazing during autumn. Again, I couldn't really find when it was added, but the stadium has a nice video board, and overall I like the seating layout, nothing too excessive, such a nice venue for a program with a long and rich history. That's Michie Stadium, home of Army. And next on the list is Rice Stadium, home to, of course, Rice. It opened in 1950 and now has a capacity of 47,000. Again, another stadium that has changed its capacity a couple times. When it originally opened, Rice Stadium could hold 70,000 fans. Rice was an excellent program back in the day, but another important thing to remember was this was before Houston ever had a professional football team. The stadium also hosted the University of Houston from 1951 to 1964. I couldn't find any modern pictures of this place full, and I just had to mention that Rice Stadium actually hosted Super Bowl VIII between the Miami Dolphins and Minnesota Vikings, Miami winning that game 24-7, so that's super interesting. Closer to today, Rice Stadium does not pull in as large of crowds anymore, and after the 2005 season, it was decided that some seats would be tarped and seating in the north end zone would be removed. In 2015, a new end zone complex was built where the seating once stood. Separate from all the seating issues, I actually really like Rice Stadium. It's simple and historic design. Although a bit oversized, it still has most of the amenities that you want in a college football venue. Up next is Protective Stadium, home of UAB. Just built in 2021 and just beating out Rice Stadium with a capacity of 47,100. Protective Stadium replaced UAB's former home, Legion Field. It serves a variety of purposes for the city of Birmingham, including hosting the Birmingham Bowl, which was the first event to ever sell out of the stadium. It also hosted the majority of games from the strange 2022 USFL season, and also is the host of the Birmingham Stallions of the USFL. And strangely enough, the New Orleans Breakers also played their home games there. Protective Stadium has lots of modern amenities you would expect from a newly built stadium, with a really nice video board, luxury seating, and concession and restroom areas. Overall, I really like the stadium design, seating layout, and material choice. I would say that the design is more simple or low-key. This is Protective Stadium, again home of University of Alabama, Birmingham. Next up is Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium, home to East Carolina. Built in 1963, it has a capacity today of 51,000. When it was first opened, it only held 10,000 fans before a renovation in 1967 doubled it to 20,000. Multiple renovations in the 70s, 80s, and 90s would expand the seating to 40,000, as well as adding elements like press boxes and some luxury seating areas. In 2002, the Murphy Center was built in the west end zone. It is a multi-use facility with strength and conditioning spaces, banquet rooms, sports memorabilia collections, among other things. Another renovation in 2009 and 2010 increased the capacity to 50,000 and added a jumbotron to the east end zone that has since been upgraded. Just 10 years later, in 2019, the stadium would add a 4-story tower behind the south side seating that would replace the old press box and add more than 1,000 luxury seats. The $60 million project also funded upgrades to the school's sports medicine building. I really like this stadium. It has a ton of stuff you want as a fan. Almost all lower bowl seating. That new press box tower looks really good too. And the program has put a lot of time and money into upgrading the stadium, so you have to commend them for that. That's Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium, home of East Carolina. Next up is Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, home to the University of Memphis. Liberty Stadium opened in 1965 and has a capacity today of 58,325. It hosts the Liberty Bowl every season. The grandstands were actually lopsided until 1987, when things were evened out, and that's when the larger press box was added to the top of the new expansion. I really like the unique design that's apparently influenced from Old Tampa Stadium. The Liberty Bowl had a $38 million expansion in 2013 that added elevators and new jumbotrons as well. Exciting things are in store for Liberty Stadium. It's complicated, but the stadium has a 3-phase plan for a $220 million renovation that should be completed by 2026. Phase 1 is already in motion, so that's awesome. As it stands today, Liberty Stadium is a good fit for the city of Memphis, as well as the university. I love it, and it's a shame that stadiums with quirky designs like this aren't built anymore. Again, this is Liberty Stadium, home of Memphis. And up next is the Alamodome, home to University of Texas, San Antonio. Built in 1993 with a capacity of 64,000, the Alamodome is unique in that it was designed to be able to easily convert to host hockey and basketball, which I think is a great idea. And it has seen the Spurs play there when they were first new, and it also saw the NCAA basketball championship game played there this most recent season. I know there's a lot of controversy with the NCAA hosting those games at football stadiums. Personally, I'm a big fan just because I like the idea of 60 to 70,000 fans packing in to see a basketball game. The Alamodome has seen a number of renovations, maybe the most notable being in 2016 when they added 4 video boards, a ribbon video strip, upgraded the sound system, as well as numerous other upgrades that ended up costing $50 million. A bit of a shame that San Antonio built the stadium to attract an NFL franchise, but hasn't gotten it yet. Today, though, it serves as a pretty good home to UTSA, although a bit oversized. As far as the exterior-interior goes, though, it's more of a pro-style stadium, but it's unique with no corner seating in the upper deck, those towers shooting up from each corner as well, and of course it being a dome, which I don't see too many at the FBS level. Overall, a really unique venue, and I'm glad it's being used. That's the Alamodome, home of UTSA. Up next is University of Southern Florida, who currently plays their games at Raymond James Stadium. It was built in 1998 and has a listed capacity of 69,128. The next two teams both play at NFL venues, but USF is more unique in that it's building a new stadium. As of right now, there's $340 million set aside for the planned 35,000 seat stadium. I did only want to include one rendering as I'm not sure how up to date that is, and I know how fast that stuff can change. They plan on breaking ground on the new stadium on October 18th of this year, hoping for it to be complete by the 2027 season. Overall, I'm really excited for USF, a program that's had some really exciting seasons and has been growing recently. I feel like the new stadium will be really loud for every game. Not that USF couldn't sell out Raymond James Stadium, but the new stadium is a better size for the school, and of course, being the primary tenant at a venue will always be preferable. But yeah, as of right now, they still play at Raymond James, but I'm excited for the future at USF. And to wrap up our list is Lincoln Financial Field, home of Temple University and some other football team. I'm not sure who. All jokes aside, though, Lincoln Financial Field opened in 2003 and has a capacity of 69,879. Before that, Temple played at their own football stadium, just called Temple Stadium, until 1978, when they joined the Eagles and playing at the Vet. I don't want to talk too much about Lincoln Financial Field, as I will touch on it in any NFL videos. It is a serviceable stadium, though, for Temple, and it's never fun, though, being a secondary tenant, and Temple, unfortunately, rarely ever fills it up too much. But yeah, overall, a nice stadium and home of Temple. I do think it's possible, maybe a little while in the future, though, that Temple could get their own football stadium, although I'm not sure of the situation at Temple right now. But they could fill up a nice little size football stadium. It certainly isn't a tiny program or anything. It's a nice big school, so I feel like a place that they can call their own would be a pretty nice environment. But anyways, guys, that wraps up our list here. I hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it. This was a little bit different this time. I did some things different as far as preparing myself for watching this video and as far as editing goes. So I hope you enjoy all those aspects. I'm just glad everybody's sticking around. We did hit 300 subscribers maybe just yesterday. So that's awesome, guys. Thank you for all the support. I just hope you stuck through this far in this video. If so, that's great, and I hope to see you in the next one. See you guys.